Hello. As an antenna installer, you'll be handling radio frequency cable, coaxial cables, and those are used to convey signals between the radio base station and the antenna. Ericsson uses cables manufactured by Andrews and no other manufacturer. And the normal feeder cable that will convey these signals is this 7/8 inch diameter. That, by the way, is a nominal diameter of the cable itself. The outside diameter is somewhat larger. I think in this case it's about 28 millimeters. But these cables are not very flexible, and so between the ends of the feeder cables and the antenna, or between the other end of the feeder cable and the radio base station, you'll have a thinner cable, which is this 1/2 inch. It's a little bit more flexible, and you can use it to bend it, to form it, to make the correct connections. If, however, there's a long distance between the radio base station and the antenna, then we'll need a much longer run of cable, and the feeder losses may be too much to handle. So you may have to fit a thicker cable. This is 1¼ inches diameter, and it's fairly heavy cable. It's fairly difficult to manhandle. And for very long runs, you would use 1 5/8 inch diameter cable. And this is even less flexible. Of course, all of these cables need to be connected to a connector of some sort, and Ericsson uses 7/16 inch connectors as standard. Andrews manufacture a connector specifically for these coaxial cables. Do not use a connector from any other manufacturer. Companies like RBS, Greenpower and Terracom, they all have their own connectors, but those are manufactured for specific coaxial cables, and they will not necessarily fit on these. So don't use any connector that's in the bottom of your toolbox. Use the correct connector specified for the cable and usually provided in the kit of installation parts for the antenna system. So now you know about the feeder cables that you're going to be installing. But of course, these feeder cables, being quite thick, they're not very flexible. And you can't really bend one of these things and connect it to a TMA or to an antenna. What we need is another cable which is short, but a lot more flexible. We can connect between them. Ericsson will supply these jumper cables which come in a variety of lengths. Here we have a 2 meter length, and here we have a 1 meter length. These jumper cables are pre-fitted with the connectors, and not only are they pre-fitted, but they're also pre-tested, so that when you're at the top of a tower and you connect the cable, you can be pretty sure that it's going to work the first time, every time. These will be connected between the feeder cable and the equipment, and again between the equipment and an antenna. Although these cables are quite flexible, please remember though that they are also limited with a bend radius specification.